want to get started this morning. Sheriff, would you mind shutting the door? Before we get started, as our custom, we have Brother Dan Rogers with us today to lead us in the invocation. And of course, Commissioner McCann, if you would, the pledges, please.
Would you bow with me, please? Father, we are blessed to be here today to be a part of this court. We thank you for each one who's assembled for whatever purpose they're here. Father, we pray that all the proceedings will go peaceable, and Father, that you will guide us and help us to have the greatest decisions and be wise in what we do. Thanks so much for the resources here in our county. It is a real pleasure to have such a beautiful place to be able to live, to work, and to play. And Father, you blessed us with all those things, and you blessed us with great people to work with as well. Thanks for these commissioners, for all who support them, and thanks for our sheriff's department and for the jail, the hospitals, and all the other ways that we are supported by this county. We pray that you will just, again, help us to use our resources wisely. For it's in your Son's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Brother Rogers, thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Well, the time is 9:02, and we do have a quorum, so we will call this meeting to order. First item is citizens' comments. The court has received 2 individuals asking to participate in the public forum for item number 5, and they wish to speak during that time. Is there any further citizens' comments? Okay. Well, then moving on is to item 1, which is consider and take action on minutes from previously held meeting of Commissioners Court held on July 26, 2022. Of those in our backup, are there any additions, deletions, or comments to the minutes as they're presented?
Hearing none, Judge, I move we approve the Commissioners Court regular session July 26, 2022 as presented.
I'll second his motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley and second by Commissioner Spivey to approve the minutes of July 26, 2022 as presented. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Item number 2 is consider and take action on awards concerning requests for qualifications for engineering and architectural services related to ARPA funding, otherwise known as the State and Local Physical Recovery Fund projects. And we have with us virtually is Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown?
Yes, sir. So we formed a committee in order to review these projects. We will start with the engineering services related to the water systems. We had 4 respondents to the request for qualification. The committee met, they reviewed and scored each of them. There was also interviews for 2 of the proposals, which was KSA and SPI. And after reviewing both, the top scores came through for KSA.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll need to take action on the approval of this bid award. Is there anything further concerning this, Ms. Brown?
No, sir, not unless anyone has any questions.
Okay. Court, comments? And this is a part of the ARPA funding, and the court is designated as one of the projects for emergency power generation to our rural water corporations. And By providing this engineering, we ensure that all regulatory items are met, and I'm going to mess up, and is it CF 200, Ms. Brown, the federal requirements?
CFR 200, yes.
CFR 200, and by following this through, we're sure that we hit every check mark.
Is the, does the committee successful with thinking that this is the thing? Just because they scored the highest, they think they're the good ones?
Yes, myself, county attorney, and Commissioner McCam were on the scoring committee. And as you can see, there was a tie in the original paper scoring, so that we set forth meetings with the two companies and rescored the proposals. And from that discussion, we believe that KSA is the one that the court should choose based upon the categories that are in the scoring sheets. It was close between both of them. Both of them very capable. And it was quite a difficult choice. Commissioner, you have any added comments?
Like you said, I think we had some really good respondents, and it took us a little bit of time to sort through them, and they were, I believe, all qualified to do what we asked to do, but with the scoring sheet, this is the way we scored them out.
And then, of course, the next step will be the presentation of an actual proposal and contract negotiations. In the event that we do not come to an agreement with who is suggested here, we are able to move on to the next one on this list. Anything further? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we award the bid for the water system generator project to KSA.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner McCann and second by Commissioner Richardson. And excuse me for the proper wording, to award engineering service bid award to KSA for the related water system generation project associated with the ARPA funding. Any further comments? All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Ms. Brown, the next item?
Yes, sir. So the next item we are going to review is for architect services for the senior citizen building and regional fair park complex. We did receive 2 proposals under request for qualifications. And of those proposals, after review and scoring, level 5 would be the recommendation of the committee.
Court, questions or comments? This again is a part of the ARPA funding made available. This project is for the remodel and the expansion of what is currently the Senior Citizens Building. This building is used quite extensively in recent months in emergency management support. It's been used as a location for community vaccinations and also for storage of commodities during the winter apocalypse in 21. We also have used it multiple times for evacuation shelter, and this particular project fits well in with the ARPA funding sources. Any other comments or questions? Entertain a motion on this bid award.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Spivey and second by Commissioner McCam to award architectural services related to the Senior Citizens Building / Regional Fair Park Complex to level 5. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Ms. Brown?
Yes, sir. The last item we're discussing is engineering services related to the county annex building for our HVAC system. The committee reviewed 3 proposals. Of those proposals, the committee suggests E3 as the vendor who received the highest score.
One of the line items that is in the ARPA funding is related to environmental aspects, being able to circulate air, to have a non-stagnant environment. This building here, the annex, has been used in previous emergency management responses and some vaccinations about not long after we bought the building. I'm trying to remember which one that was, Ms. Kimbrough.
One of the
H1N1 outbreaks, and given that capability and also given the location, we felt like that it was a good project that fit within that. In this age, in the response to the coronavirus pandemic, that was one of the issues that they had, was that proper ventilation be involved in public areas and being involved in emergency management response. Court, any discussion? Entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to award the bid for the Henderson County Annex Building HVAC system to E3.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Richardson, to award the engineering service bid related to the county annex building for HVAC system to E3. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Ms. Brown, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you for it.
Item 3, consider and take action on floodplain permit for Union Pacific Railroad Corsicana Division, bridge number 387.06 replacement and flood zone A located in precinct 1. Ms. Kimbrough.
It's a correction, Judge. It's Bridge 587.06.
Did I say something?
I thought so, but we're going to be real quick on this. So you've all received a packet showing the specific location. This is in the ETJ of Athens. I have talked with them. They do not desire to do any permitting work for the floodplain in the ETJ. This is near County Road 1400 is going to be the basic vicinity we're talking about. Today I have Mr. Chris Vogt here. He'll stand up, sir. He's the professional engineer for the railroad that can answer any detailed questions that you might have about the construction. I think they've presented a very good packet in great detail talking about how this will be completed. So we're going to dispense with reading the legal liability clause as I've gone over this with Mr. Vogt on both of the projects, and I'm going to request that the court approve my signature for a floodplain permit for Union Pacific Railroad, bridge number 587.06, located in precinct 1 in Zone A floodplain.
Commissioner Spivey.
Ms. Kimbrough's came to me several times on this and explained it to me, and I have no issues with it.
Okay. Questions or comments, court? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the floodplain permit for Union Pacific Railroad Corsicana Subdivision Bridge 587.06 for replacement in flood zone A located at precinct 1.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Spivey and second by Commissioner Tooley to approve a floodplain permit for Union Pacific Railroad Corsicana Subdivision, bridge number 587.06, replacement in flood zone A located in precinct 1. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Item number 4 is consider and take action on a floodplain permit from Union Pacific Railroad Corsicana subdivision, bridge number 590.15, replacement in the flood zone A located in precinct 1. Ms. Kimbrough.
Yes, sir. Court, this is a similar replacement bridge. The detailed packet is enclosed with the letter of explanation. The vicinity map is located off of County Road 2021 near the Crescent Heights area. Again, Mr. Vogt is here to answer any questions that you may have. Also, we have discussed the liability clause in the floodplain permit, leaving the county held harmless to any issues that might occur during that reconstruction. I'd ask the court's permission to sign the floodplain permit for bridge number 5, Union Pacific Railroad Bridge number 590.15, located in Zone A in Precinct 1.
Commissioner Spivey.
I'd just like to thank you both for all your hard work getting this legality to court and to continue on. I just wanted to thank you.
Any other questions? I will ask, these are currently wooden structures and have been in place for a great number of years. What will they be replaced with?
Concrete girder bridges.
Concrete girder bridges. How long do you believe it would take to replace the bridge?
A couple of months.
A couple of months? Okay. That's a long time for that line involved in this. Is that correct? It's a fairly busy line,
It is
correct?
a busy line. Yes. They do as much construction while the track is in service as possible. So there will be no shoe flag, they call it, no additional track. That type of, as much work as they can under live track.
I don't know if anyone else has noticed it, but the traffic.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Spivey and second by Commissioner Richardson to approve a floodplain permit for Union Pacific Railroad Corsicana subdivision, bridge number 590.15 replacement in flood zone A located in precinct 1. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Judge.
Kimbrough.
I'll be back for 7.
All right. Item 5 is a public hearing that was scheduled for 9:15. It is now 9:19. Can we have a motion to move into public hearing?
I'll make a motion to move into public hearing at 9:19.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Richardson, second by Commissioner McCann to move into public hearing at 9:19. And this is concerning the creation of the Forest Grove Reinvestment Zone. And at this time, I will remind everyone that you have each individual has 3 minutes to speak. And, excuse me. When you do come forward, please state your name and address for the record so our clerk can get that down. And we have 2 at this point in time that have signed up, and we have Mr. Randy Jones. Mr. Jones, would you please come forward, sir?
Good morning. My name is Randy Jones. I live at 107 Brentwood Circle in Athens. And good morning, Judge McKinney, members of the Commissioners Court. I appreciate immensely you having this public hearing, and we appreciate your investment of time and understanding in this very worthy project. And to be succinct, I would simply say I support the creation of the Forest Grove Reinvestment Zone, and I would encourage you to support that as well. I think it represents a great deal of economic growth and opportunity for all of the entities that are involved. And again, I would say thank you for your efforts, and I support that and certainly hope that you can too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Next, we have Dr. Janie Sims. Dr. Sims?
Good morning. Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. I'll be very brief. My name is Janie Sims. I live at 902 Rico Drive here in Athens, and I serve as the superintendent of schools for the Athens Independent School District. So on behalf of our Board of Trustees, I just wanted to speak in favor of the creation of the reinvestment zone for the Forest Grove project. We have spent the past several months working with the group that you are about to hear from. We found them to be very professional and easy to work with. We think it'll be a beneficial project, not only for the school district, but for the county and the city as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sims. Is there anyone else wishing to speak at this time? I will make one last call. Anyone wishing to speak on the creation of the Forest Grove Reinvestment Zone? All right. Well, hearing none, may we have a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Spivey and second by Commissioner Richardson to close public hearing at 9:22. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Moving to item 6, we have consider and take action on the creation of the Forest Grove Reinvestment Zone. And with us today, we have Michael Camden.
Yes, sir.
No, please come forward, sir. And I'm sorry, ma'am.
Kimberly Hilly.
I'm sorry?
Kimberly Hilly.
Ms. Hilly. And you represent?
Vista and Michael represents, Vista Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can just put these in here.
Please proceed, sir.
Well, Judge, Commissioners, thank you for having us. Again, my name is Michael Camden. With Ryan LLC, we're a tax advisor to Vista Corp. Vista Corp is the parent company to the Forest Grove Solar Development. They would also not only develop the project, but operate it for its life. I first met with you all probably a little over a year ago, Judge, I think in June of last year, and introduced the project as a possible two-phase, 200 megawatt per phase project. Right now, we're targeting a 400 megawatt project, but we do see a lot of market factors that seem to make the project go up and down. But we feel pretty confident in the size of that project. So really what we're bringing to you today is the creation of a reinvestment zone. Now, I don't want this to be considered, sometimes it can be hard to follow. It's maybe not named the best thing. Maybe it should be called a project boundary. But essentially a reinvestment zone is tracts of land that have to be contiguous. And to enter into any property tax incentive, whether through the school district or through the county, you have to create a reinvestment zone. It's a prerequisite. Any property that is put on land outside of the zone would not be covered under any sort of property tax incentive. So this is just a prerequisite piece to the process. We have applied for abatement with the county. We have applied for a value limitation agreement with the school district. Both are going to bring pretty beneficial revenue figures to all jurisdictions. We understand that in our experience to develop projects of this scale and nature, it takes community partnership. And I've had the pleasure to speak with the judge and the county attorney and also come speak with the court a few times. And so, one, we appreciate you continuing this dialogue. We know that this is not binding you to any sort of agreement. It's just a part of the process. Also, for the land that is within the reinvestment zone, that is not changing how the land can be classified. It does not change how it's taxable. In fact, it's basically just an imaginary boundary. It's just part of the law. But I was going to introduce you to Kimberly Hilly. She's with the Community Affairs Group with Vistra, and she can kind of give a little bit of an overview of the company and what they've done in the community to date.
Great. Thank you, Michael. Hello. Thank you again so much for having us. We really appreciate it. Again, my name is Kimberly Hilly. I work in Community Affairs for Vista. We also have Todd King in the audience as well. Todd is the program manager for our pre-construction engineering of the project. So if there's any technical questions at all about the project, Todd can also help answer and address those questions. So thank you, Todd, for being here. Thought I could just briefly go over this deck real quick. If you turn to slide 2, this is a little bit of information about Vistra. Vistra is a Texas-based company. We date back to the 1800s, so we've been around for a while. We are a Fortune 275 company, so we are a large company. We're actually the largest power generator in Texas and the largest competitive power generator in the United States. We do operate in 20 different states, but Texas is definitely our home. We believe in what's considered a fuel-diverse portfolio, which basically just means that we believe in an all-of-the-above approach whenever it comes to the fuel mix. So that does mean that we have coal. We have some coal. We have natural gas. That's the majority of our fleet. We do also have nuclear, as well as we're now obviously shifting into renewable energy, which is solar and batteries for us. We don't own any wind, but we do purchase wind. And then that's the footprint of our company. You can see we're out in California. We actually have the largest battery energy storage system in the world out in California. We skip over to Texas. That's where our headquarters are just up in Irving, Texas, as well as a lot of other locations as well. And then we pick up in Illinois and go all the way to Maine. So that's our footprint. If you flip to slide 3, that helps to show that Vista is already here in Henderson County. We operate the Trinidad Power Plant, which is a natural gas power plant, 244 megawatts. You may have heard that was going to retire back in April of 2021, but Winter Storm Uri hit in February 2021. So we reevaluated and we decided to keep it going. There's no plans for retirement for that power plant. So that is definitely in operation. And we're very happy that it's in operation. That's been able to help put more megawatts on the grid this summer whenever we really need it. We also are here in Henderson County through our different retail operations as well. We actually serve thousands of Henderson households through TXU Energy, which is one of our retail brands, as well as Ambit Energy and Tri-Eagle Energy. We also partner with a couple of different nonprofits here in this area, the Greater East Texas Community Action Program and the Henderson County Help Center. And they actually help us administer our bill payment assistance program, which is TXU Energy Aid. We really want our customers, we really want everybody to stay safe during this very hot summer months. So we want to make sure that people can stay safe and keep their power on. So we help people pay their electric bills if they need it. If you flip the page, this is actually a great slide of some things that we are doing here in Henderson County. We really care about our communities and where we do business. And that's one of our core principles that we have. We're a good corporate citizen, and just one example of it is that last year we actually worked in coordination with the Henderson County Historical Commission, and we started a historic black cemetery on our land. If you flip the page to, and those are just some great pictures of it as well. If you flip the page to page 5, this actually talks about our Vista Zero initiative. Vista Zero stands for zero emissions, and we have a really large initiative where we're building renewable energy. We're currently doing this in 3 different states, primarily California, Illinois, and Texas, but we will definitely go where there's opportunities. And these are the list here is kind of the announced projects. The list to the left, you can see it says solar. So that's 6 projects that we have here in Texas. You can see Forest Grove Solar Facility, that's 400 megawatts. It's the largest on this list. It's actually the largest in East Texas, period. So that's definitely some bragging rights there, hopefully for Henderson County to have the largest solar facility, hopefully in East Texas. If you flip the page to page 6, this helps to tell a little bit more information about the actual Forest Grove Solar Energy Facility. Like I said, it would be the largest in East Texas. As Michael said, it's up to 400 megawatts. That would be enough to power 200,000 homes. So it's rather large. Remember, our Trinidad power plant is 244. So this would be 400, or up to 400. The location's obviously in Henderson, just up on 175. You can see the project boundary there in pink. It is owned and operated 100% by Vista, which we are in the business to have generation. We don't just go off and sell it. We definitely will be owning and operating this. And the estimated COD, commercial operation date, is Q4 2025. And as Michael said earlier, 5,300 acres. The estimated number of jobs created would be 200 to 250 construction jobs, and that would be obviously at peak. We wouldn't need all those jobs all the time, but then the actual operation jobs would be 4. And then that investment in Henderson County, $388 million. The next slide, slide 7, talks about the environmental studies and reviews that we're required by law to comply with. The first 5, those are actually all the Army Corps of Engineers. And then the last one, the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, that is a TCEQ law or rule that we have to comply with. And that's actually, that will help with runoff issues, but then it's also, you have to have a stormwater pollution prevention plan for both construction and in operations. And again, Todd is our expert on all of these wonderful reviews and studies, so he can help to answer any questions about that. Then you flip to slide 8. We just wanted to show some pretty pictures of our Vista Operations to actually kind of show you what we have going on. So the picture to the left, this is actually a new solar facility called Brightside that we just became operational this summer. It's down in Live Oak County. It's 50 megawatts, and you can see that it's a great facility. It's fenced in, it's secured, there's space between the panels, there's wide roads for access, all the natural grass is controlled and it's mowed. I mean, it's definitely, it's a very well-run operation. And like I said, that is just became operational this summer down in Live Oak. The picture to the right is a little bit different terrain, and so that's actually in our West Texas, that's one of our West Texas solar facilities. It's another great facility that we have. And then the picture at the bottom, this picture is actually some of our reclaimed land out at our Turlington mine in Titus County. This land actually won the 2021 Excellence in Surface Coal Mining Reclamation Award. That's given through the agency that regulates this. And this just helps to show that we take care of our property. We know how to take care of our property. At the end of different projects, we decommission and we reclaim land. That's what we do. We obviously we make power, we sell power, and we take care of our property. And then the next slide, slide 9, is the estimated tax payments to community stakeholders. If you look down to Henderson County, that is the 25 years. The estimate is $11 million. Obviously, Michael can go over all of these details in more, or all of this slide in more detail. The 25-year estimate total benefit to all impacted jurisdictions is $56 million. And then finally, just to kind of wrap it up, Vista, we are a Texas-based company that we've been here in Henderson County, and we will continue to be here in Henderson County. And we want to make this investment here with you all. The project would broaden and diversify the county tax base, and it wouldn't really need a whole lot of services. We have a proven record of safe, responsible, and environmentally sound operations. We are a good company. We're a good corporate citizen, and we will do business the right way here in Henderson County. And finally, we have a long record of supporting our communities, as we were talked about the Energy Aid program, but then also doing things like that, restoring the historic Black Cemetery as well. So with that, I will wrap up my presentation and ask if there's any questions or concerns.
Court?
Do they have a 25-year life expectancy?
Yes, sir.
And after the 25 years, what happens?
After Todd, do you want to help with that?
Yes, sir. After 25 years, and that was the point of the reclamation picture. We will come out and we will demo all of the equipment, put the land back to the condition it's in now or better. I mean, our reclamation programs for our mining company, and we've proven for the last 25, 30 years that we really are good stewards of the land. So.
And how many acres out of the 5,200 would be solar panels?
It would be the 5,300 acres would be the solar panels. The actual property is 12.
I think we own like 12,000.
12,000, and 5,300 acres would be solar panels?
Yes, sir.
And then the reinvestment zone is 6,600.
That's right.
Will the solar panels be visible from the highway?
Todd?
So, and forgive me for not remembering the county road 23, 29 that cuts through the center. You'll be able to see the panels from there. Some of them. There will also be some trees that are left as a buffer from the road, but I can't promise you that you can't see the panels.
Will there be any local contractors used?
Yes.
I just have a few questions
Sure,
that
of
people
course.
have asked me.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the potential environmental hazards?
A runoff, or do you want to talk about that? Todd, would you like to come up here with a microphone?
Yeah, please come forward.
So the studies that we've read and indicate that there really are no environmental hazards with the panels. They don't. You hear of reflections killing birds and that sort of stuff. That was that happened in Arizona. That was not solar panels. That was a total different technology. That's the bad news is spread to everybody. As far as the panels themselves, they're pretty inert. A fire will not melt them. There won't be chemicals that run off or anything like that.
Where do you dispose of the ones that when they break?
Those go back to the manufacturer and they're recycled.
Are there any area property taxes paying for this? For this project?
We are requesting an abatement from the county, and we did apply for a Chapter 313 value limitation agreement with the school district. School districts can't give abatements. They can only apply a limitation to how they value the maintenance and operations. It's a very beneficial project to the school district because, as you all are aware, in school finance in Texas, a lot of the funds that are collected for M&O portion of taxes go back to Austin, to the capital, and get redistributed across the state to try to even out a per student head cost. The nice thing about this program, at least in the limitation agreement, is the school district stands to gain about $5.5 million that they don't have to send back and recapture, so they can use it however they'd like. We all know there are teacher shortages. There are projects that school districts can't finance, sometimes through bonds. This would give them an opportunity to do some of those projects. But from a financing standpoint, property taxes are more of a reduction of the operational expense to the project, and for solar facilities, the biggest operational expense is property taxes, especially in Texas. So we are asking for that from an operational standpoint, but as far as an upfront cost to build it, those property tax incentives would not impact that piece.
Okay, and I had, what is the electrical output of the farm after completion? What is electrical output of the farm after the completion?
So right now it's planned at 400 megawatts, and that's AC.
That's all I have.
How many employees will this bring to the county?
So full-time, once it's in operation, we're estimating 4 right now. There'll be 200 to 250 construction workers in here for a year to 18 months. And that will, like Kimberly said, that's the peak number. Considering which phase of the construction we're in, it will vary.
But those full-time employees, they might be residents, but they might be some people that travel across the state that does your weeding and mowing.
I could speak to that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually the third-party contract services like weed eating, mowing, any sort of pest control that's needed, there'll be an operations maintenance building, so repairs to the real property over time. Even the full-time positions will sometimes not do all the technician improvements, so you might have third-party contractors that come work on the panels. But a lot of the contract services that you're going to pay in your monthly operating expenses, those would be contract jobs. And ideally, they would be from local vendors and suppliers. The 4 full-time positions, we hope to be local. We'd love to partner with the community and maybe the local workforce group to put out the positions when we're in the process of trying to hire. That would be ideal. The one thing that you have to think about of a project of this scale is economic development a lot of times is thought as job creation only. Not many projects are this large. Some of those jobs we have to pull from out of the community because most communities don't really have an unemployment issue. And so when we do that, that brings their families, and then that starts to put strains on every taxing jurisdiction's budget. More kids in schools, more families needing services through the county's revenues. With this project, ideally, if we can hire people local, we're not really putting any strain on your budgets. We're just being a new revenue stream for you. That's our goal.
Todd, you spoke a while ago about the panel. Speak about the batteries and the safe, the unsafe.
You're talking about in battery storage?
Yes.
So right now, we do not have any plans to add battery storage or any energy storage technology to this project. That's not to say that that couldn't be considered later on. That is a very, very viable technology. And do you have any specific questions?
What I'm just saying is, so will y'all have to come back to us if it turns into a battery storage or building a building?
Right. So the current application is just for the solar, because that's all we know right now. Once a reinvestment zone is created, it lasts for 5 years. So anything else that's done in that zone can get an abatement without having to create the zone again, but it would have to be a separate agreement.
This power, will it be for Henderson County only or more?
No, the grid is set up, it's kind of a statewide grid, but the power goes onto the grid and then the loads are taken off the grid where they're needed.
How many houses did you say?
200,000.
And is Vista, is it has it been renamed from a former company?
Yeah, so we've had a few different names over the years. You probably know us the most by TXU Energy or TXU. What was the name back in the day? There's been Energy Future Holdings.
Yeah, Energy Future Holding. Y'all may know us as Texas Power and Light.
Texas Power and Light. That's what I'm thinking.
Original.
So that was when Trinidad was built. It was a Texas Power and Light plant, and then we've gone through a number of name changes that I'm aware of in the last 30 years. TU Electric, TXU Energy. Right now, our generation facilities are under the brand name Luminant. So that's what you would know us by right now. But it's all been the same company.
Same company.
So all Texas-based and.
Do we know how much property tax y'all pay right now on that 6,600 acres? Yeah, 6,602 acres. Do we know how much property tax
I
y'all
don't
pay
have the
right now?
exact number. I know that there's ag exemptions out there that would, those would be lifted on any of the land where panels are put. And they pay that rollback of the last 3 years of what they should have paid without ag exemption. But it can't be a big number with the ag exemption in place.
We got a list of values, but we don't have a list of.
Yeah, we could get that.
We can definitely provide that information. And we also pay, obviously, taxes on our Trinidad power plant as well, so we're a taxpayer.
When you review the map, there are a few locations that are cut out. And I believe that may be due to not owning that property.
That's right. There's the map we originally sent you in the application for the zone. I guess there's a couple of boxes throughout. Some of those are pieces of land that are not owned by Luminant, so the reinvestment zone's going around those. And then there's that one larger kind of upside down rectangle that is land that they own, but they're trying to talk to other companies about possibly doing a project there. And Judge, that's where we discussed maybe taking that out of the zone in case that other project looked at that spot.
Now, to be specific, looking at what our CAD was able to produce, given the shape files that were sent to us, what I see is the section between County Road 2805 and 2803, but that is not where I remember that location of a possible other entity coming in at.
Do you have a copy of that map?
Yeah, I do.
I got a big version.
Here's 2803, that's all I know.
Farm to Market 2329, right here.
This is the one that they may do that data center, possibly, where they were talking to somebody about that.
Okay. Because the reason I asked that question is that it leads into this, is that given the size of this reinvestment zone, any agreement that we make would be binding upon any other entity coming into that zone. And in many instances, you can have an agreement that is good for one item, one service, one production, and not good for another.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to bring that into this discussion here. Because that's not the location I remember that in our discussions of it being.
Right. Well, that's the piece that they wanted to carve out.
Okay.
Because they would be willing to possibly put a different type of facility that would be taxed differently under a different entity. They would just lease the land. And if that was the case, we'd want that company to approach the county on its own 2 feet and on its own merit. Other than that, you are correct. Once the zone's created, if an agreement is entered into, those terms apply to any other property that goes on the land, as long as an agreement is given to those other companies that apply. So they don't just get it because the zone exists and there's an agreement with Vista, right?
Okay. Court, further questions?
Is the entire project in Athens ISD?
The reinvestment zone is not, but the project is. The reinvestment zone drops down, I think in Malakoff, on the south side. But briefly, that's just the zone. Yeah, it's like right here.
On the estimated tax payments to all these taxing jurisdictions, and it says year 1 to year 10. Did somebody say it was 18 months to a year to get started?
No, sir, that's a construction tax.
Right.
Yeah.
And then probably a year after that would when year 1 through 10 would start?
Yeah, once it's constructed, the year in which COD is done and the project's completed and they're online, that following January 1st will be the first year that the full values can be on the rolls. Now, during construction in Texas, appraisal districts will sometimes tax property at roughly 35 to 50%, depending on the type of property, while construction's going on. So there will be, taxes paid during construction in progress. But yes, it'd probably be about an 18-month construction period for this size. But I don't know, would y'all do it would you bring a part of the project online while the rest is being constructed, or do you wait till it's all finished? Because that would bring more.
It is possible we could bring part of the project online. That really has to do with material deliveries. We're looking at having 2 separate transformers instead of one big one, because we think those may be more available. So right now, transformers are deliveries running 50 to 52 weeks. So that's the big thing right there.
That would be a year.
That'd be a year, yeah.
So on the estimated tax payments by jurisdiction, all the taxes are based on year one being the first year that they're operational. So anything in construction in progress isn't reflected here. Also, the Athens ISD supplemental payments, if we do enter into a value limitation agreement with them, sometimes those supplemental payments can be paid during construction. They can start earlier, and those are usually over a 13, 14-year period.
What's a supplemental payment?
It's a payment that the company would make to the school district on, based on the average daily attendance rate, so $100 per head. And they make those payments the same time when they pay property taxes, but they don't go into the general fund of the school district. So they're not going to have to send that money to Austin, and it's not going to be part of how they generate their tax rate each year. It's just extra funding that they get to use how they'd like.
See, a lot of this is wooded area, so will a lot of this be cleared off, the trees and stuff be pushed for a lot of this area also?
Yes, sir. We've actually started clearing some areas because we can't do our final design without being able to do a topography. So we've started clearing some of the areas at this time.
The topography of the western side of this is more conducive to this project, correct? If you know this country over there, it doesn't have the limitations of the eastern side of the district. And the western side is not as heavily treed. It is toward the southern end of it, but everything 2/3 north.
There's a lot of the areas that are not treed.
Right.
So.
And then part of the reclamation program at the end of the useful life is going in and planting, trees and making sure that the land is returned.
If you just looked at this, and I know our subject matter is the creation of the district more so than the development of the project, but the two walk hand in hand. It seems, if I remember, is it pretty evenly split as far as panels being north of 2329 as south of 2329? The bulk of the property is south of the FM 2329.
Yes, sir. It's split probably 60-40.
60-40?
Yeah, south.
South?
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned transformers. Is that due to the obstacle of FM 2329 being there? Because we know the big switch yard used to switch, bringing ERCOT in was, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, opened up, that joins this location almost exactly. And then there's still leftover infrastructure from when the coal plant was going to be.
Yeah, so this is these transformers step up the voltage from the solar site, 34.5, up to the connection voltage. They're at those substations you're referencing.
Okay.
So, that's one of the benefits of this project is that we have some existing infrastructure.
Okay. Court, any other questions?
I'm stuck on this supplemental payment. We got some projects here.
Remember, the school districts have a wonderful partner called the state of Texas.
It says the annual payroll will be $100,000. That's 4 people, but.
I did not update that. That was when it used to be 2. So it's roughly, I think, about $60,000 on average per employee.
Commissioner, you bring up that supplemental side. I say what I say in jest because we love to pick at our representatives. No, you open the door. These supplemental agreements are very beneficial for our local ISDs. And you, with your school board background, you understand that better than most of us. So much of the funding that comes to school districts is programmed, basically. And Doctor, I'm speaking to the choir as I speak to y'all. You know, local taxes generate 60% of school funding. That's what the breakout is currently. But yet, per our discussions, the state programs 80% of the total. This allows flexibility for our school districts. Those agreements do, and I appreciate the school districts having that opportunity to enter into those, because it does give them a little more control in how, again, the local money is spent instead of being programmed out of Austin.
Well, after you're elected to the school board, you can really find out how much you know when you say that you can only deal with 20% of the budget because 80% is total to you how to spend it. So
yeah,
I agree.
And in this investment zone, the abatement doesn't apply to road and bridge funds.
When we move to the agreement process, that has historically been what Henderson County has written into the contract, that it is general fund tax rates that is abated, not road and bridge, due to the actual usage and demands of road and bridge being such a smaller segment of the tax rate.
With the commissioner bringing that up, during the project installation, y'all will be, what roads? FM 2329?
Yes, sir.
Is there any other, like, county roads?
No, sir, not planning on using any of those. We'll get driveway permits off the FM for the north side, and we've already got access on the south side, so.
Okay.
Clayton Homes, which was a fantastic project as far as job creation. Biomeric is another one that we were involved in granting. HVAC here in town, and I'm missing others. It has been a great tool for helping job growth, in that this district at this point, as we've heard, at least for the solar portion of it, isn't a great job creator. But it's some of the additional support things that we may have some very significant opportunity with when you look at these. Because there, as we found out a year ago, there are many industries looking for specific power to use. Now, my personal preference, I'd rather have gas, but I do say thank you for keeping Trinidad online, because I remember the comments at the beginning was, well, it's not financially sustainable due to its lack of runtime. But that has definitely changed in the last 18 months.
Yes, sir.
Court, anything further? This is just designating the zone. We have designated a zone in the past over in the LaRue area for a potential, what they would call a pocket plant for peak times in the electrical grid, of which did not come to fruition. And in a similar situation, it was ag exempt. But I believe the creation lasts for 10 years? 5 years, exactly. And at that point in time, the zone goes away. Anything further, Court? All right, then. Anything final?
Just thank you again.
How tall are how high up are the mirrors going to be set?
They're not mirrors.
Well,
Yeah,
I
they're
say,
not mirrors.
excuse me.
The panels,
Don't want to get into Arizona.
so it varies depending on the terrain, but I can see the tops of them, so 6 feet, something like that.
Okay. It's going to be interesting to see how if it does come to that point.
Yeah,
That's a whole lot of acreage to be maintaining grass or those type of things. And when you consider the height, that's a limitation on what you can get in. That's the only thing I was curious about. All right. Court, anything further? Our county attorney?
Only thing I would add, I think y'all have more than plowed this ground. Just remember, all we're doing today is setting up a geographic area. We're not entering into an agreement. We're not making an agreement. We aren't obligating ourselves to enter into an agreement. There are counties, if we wanted to, we could make the entire county one big reinvestment zone and say, here's our reinvestment zone. Now there's some downsides to doing that. Another good example, a lot of municipalities, they will go in and just pre-set up reinvestment zones, and those are typically in areas of the city where they want to see development and new growth. And so they don't focus on one particular project. They go in, create a reinvestment zone, and say this area of the city is now a reinvestment zone, and then whatever projects want to come into that zone can come and make applications. So all we are doing today is establishing a geographic area that will allow us, if the court's inclined, to enter into agreements in the future. And it could be an agreement with Vista or an agreement with anyone else. Of course, they own all the property, so that'd be unlikely, but it could be. I mean, it's not just limited, if you create it and they were transferred the property, it could be something else. That's it.
And all agreements are based upon having the zone created,
Yeah,
both
ordinary.
ours and with the other taxing entities.
But too, I think that's important because I see from the questions, there's some concerns and job growth and on the number side, and I just want to reiterate, we really haven't gotten into that yet, and all of the commissioners will have plenty of opportunity to drill these poor folks and then come back if we get to that point.
Thank you, sir. Any closing?
Just thank you again so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
For you.
Thank you.
Court, final comments? All right. Hearing none, then entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to create the Forest Grove Reinvestment Zone.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam and seconded by Commissioner Richardson to approve the creation of the Forest Grove Reinvestment Zone as presented. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Item number 7 is consider and take action on floodplain permit for John Litchfield doing business as The Groves. This is in Zone AE in Precinct 1. Ms. Kimbrough.
Not going to get off as easy on this one this time. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Present today, I have the owner and developer of The Groves, Mr. John Litchfield, present. This application is for a floodplain permit that will do several things. The first one being removal of tree roots, soil, and debris that is currently located in the floodplain. There is no fill approved in this part of the project. The second part will be addition of a cofferdam, a temporary cofferdam. That'll be the installation and the removal of that cofferdam, and that's to hold back water. I think we provided some good pictures explaining what the cofferdam is designed to do. It's designed to dry out the area that will eventually be the third part of this project. The third part of the project is the dredge of the actual approximate 7-acre area to create a channel on Cedar Creek Lake, and that is detailed in your paperwork, the ownership, the deeds. included in your paperwork is a sketch of the lake, the temporary cofferdam, and the dredge area. Please ignore the surrounding subdivision. This has nothing to do with the subdivision rules and regulations at this time. This is strictly for the change in that are going to take place or asked to be take place in the floodplain areas of the lake. Now, we've never done one quite like this before, because if this is approved and after this is completed, this will require a complete letter of map change through FEMA for the addition of the areas of floodplain, the dredge. It's a detailed process. It's not a short process. And the owner-developer will be responsible for all of that process with FEMA, with the county working with FEMA. I will actually work through FEMA and the developer to complete that letter of map change. And that will be something that we will work with our regional FEMA representatives to make sure that we have not missed anything at all to accommodate this change. I've gone over with Mr. Litchfield all of the hold harmless clause and the actual permit that would be issued at the county level. It's very, very clear that the county nor its elected officials will take any responsibility for missteps along the way, of which we will be, I will be monitoring regarding site visits, and those will continue. This will be a process that is finalized only once the complete development is done. So this is the first phase or first part. This permit is the first part. I do have Mr. Litchfield available to answer any questions, and I'm happy to take any questions if you have those.
Commissioner Spain?
Mr. Kimbrough and I have spent many hours with Mr. Litchfield over the last several months with this project, and he's trying to do everything the correct way. We've been out there lots of times and had meetings with him at our office and at his office, at his site, and at different places. And there was a little bit of dirt moved that just by accident, but they've cooperated in every way. I did another site visit yesterday, and everything's the same since we spoke with him last week, waiting on this permit. And as long as Ms. Kimbrough has all her paperwork done, I'm okay with this, as long as everything's done correctly.
Okay. And I would say what Commissioner Spivey mentioned, this phase, the first part of this permit, the soil removal, the roots and the debris, is taking care of work that was done right at the edge of the floodplain. So we're permitting the removal of that dirt to accommodate. So there's absolutely no fill. There's no permanent change regarding fill.
Court?
I just have a couple of questions. It says about 7 acres of soil is going to be removed.
Yes.
So is that, are they going to use it out in this proposed subdivision, or are you going to take it completely off it?
We've actually got to deal with West Cedar Creek, as they know about.
Please come forward.
West Cedar Creek owns the land adjacent to us without having to go off-site, and so we've made a deal with them. They had some low areas, about 7 or 8 foot low areas. So we have started the process of moving the soil over to their site, and we're going to use as much of it as they want, level it out, make their property drain more properly, as in the future they may use it, I think, as a
lift station or something in West Cedar Creek's future. So all the soil is being moved right there. There's just a private road that separates our property and their property, so we're not going off-site or on any county roads or nothing like that. Some of the soil that we excavate, we are going to use to probably build some home sites, some pad sites, something like that, but it's going to be minimal. We're excavating probably 300,000 cubic yards, and we may use 10,000 on site, so really minimal. Now, anything extra that we have, West Cedar Creek, I believe they own some land about a quarter mile right there on 274, and we've made a deal with them also to move it down there to where I think they built a waste site or something in the years past, and they need some soil there. So it's pretty much going to be used by West Cedar Creek or on site.
My second question is, has this plat been
No,
come to court?
No.
no. It's not that time yet. This is just phase 1 for him.
Okay.
This is just the dredge. And we do have the Tarrant Regional Water District permits included in your packet. I have spoken to Bucky Butler. He's aware that the county is all over this. So if there's any change in the future regarding jurisdictional changes or anything like that, I've agreed to provide technical assistance, although I won't do the complete work. The letter of map change is going to be what's really the crusher here. The letter of map change through FEMA, redrawing the maps, the floodplain maps.
That'll all have to be done before the subdivision plat comes in.
That was my question. Does Tarrant Regional have to agree for this dredging to be done?
Yes.
And I don't see that paperwork in here.
The permit from them.
But they have agreed to do it also?
Yes, they have. And I've talked.
Should have been in here. I've seen it. I don't see it in here though.
Yeah, no, it's not in our
It isn't
packet.
I didn't see it, but that was my question. Were they in agreement also?
Yes, they are.
We have that paperwork. He
Yeah, we
supplied
do.
it with us. It should have been in here.
Yeah, it should have.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
People
I
are
do
in good standing.
Yeah.
That
See,
should
they
have that information.
have a certificate of liability insurance, and it's the certificate holder is Tarrant Regional Water District on here.
But there is an actual permit from them, and what I'll do is go over to my office and make sure I have that
I
included
have
in
it
this.
right here.
You
I'm
do have
sending it.
Okay.
It is active and already
Yeah.
approved by them for the break wall and the dredge, so.
Okay, I just sent it to y'all. It should have been in the packet.
And
Sorry about that.
you own all that property in there, so that break wall will not affect any other
Yes.
property owner?
Yes, it won't invade anybody else's other waterfront or even anybody, it won't impact anybody's view. The closest person was on the, I guess, kind of the southeastern side of that cove. And we're in good standings with them, but the closest it's going to be is probably 180 foot from their property anyway. So Tarrant County approved us to go within 60 foot, and we made the option to stay. The lake's so dry right now, the coffer dam that's going in place is only going to hold back about a foot of water, and so we're not needing to even go as far as we was going to go whenever I submitted this. So.
None of the proposed fill locations on Tarrant Regional's
There's
property?
no fill being
No.
permitted.
Oh.
Zero fill.
No fill by
Only
this permit, but will there be anything affected in what was stated here about had agreements with the adjoining property owner, which is Tarrant Regional, of moving some of that over there. None of that area is in the floodplain?
No.
No.
Okay.
It's, I think the lowest point on that property is 339, somewhere around there, so it's pretty elevated.
Anything further?
So I just want to say one other thing. On one of the trips, when we physically went there, I physically did the elevations myself standing in place. So I'm very comfortable with the elevations. And also I backed that up with a new program that Commissioner Richardson provided me.
Ms.
Thank you
Kimbrough,
very
can
much.
you speak up? We can't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said I have personally, when I've gone to the location, stood at the levels and taken the elevations myself, and I have backed those up and cross-referenced those with the new program that Commissioner Richardson was kind enough to provide with me. So very comfortable with this, provided there is no fill, zero fill.
Any further questions, comments? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the floodplain permit for John Litchfield with the Groves in Zone AE located in Precinct 1.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Spivey and second by Commissioner Tilley to approve the floodplain permit for John Litchfield doing business as the Groves in Zone AE located in Precinct 1. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously.
Thank you, Court.
very
Thank
much.
you,
May we be
Court.
excused?
Thank you.
May we be excused?
Yes. Item 8 is consider and take action on resolution for participation in the Texas Department of Transportation Off-System Bridge Replacement Program located on County Road 3406 at Horn Branch in Precinct 3. Commissioner.
Well, as we all know, we got our bridge inspections back, and all of us have met with the TxDOT bridge inspectors. But this is one of my bridges that was the lowest scoring bridge on on the system, and they have this program that gives the counties opportunity to get into this program with TxDOT system, and TxDOT will pay for the other. In your backup, you'll see the amounts in there, but TxDOT will pay for the biggest part of the replacement of the bridge. We have to add some to it, but a lot of ours can be rehabbed to other structures. It can be replacement cost. If I do work on another bridge that I've got in the system, then that cost of me doing that will replace what I would have to pay TxDOT. But so I would like to put this Horn Branch Bridge in this system. It's bridge number 10108-0AA34-06101, and it's the County Road 3406 bridge at Horn Branch. And I would like to put that in this TxDOT program.
Okay. Questions for the Commissioner? This program's been around for a while. County's participated in at least once before. It is a great program in the fact that you get one spectacular TxDOT bridge out of this, and being able to put our money to another location instead of matching into this project is even more beneficial.
Well, I hadn't tried to get in this program in the years prior, but with these new bridge inspections, I have several bridges. We know I got 24 bridges in Precinct 3, and several of them I still have 6 wooden bridges left. And then some of these bridges, like this one at Horn Branch, are older bridges that were the first ones that were built. It's a concrete structure and steel structure, but it's had some significant wear and rust and environmental damages to it. So I didn't think it would be one of my lowest scoring bridges. I thought one of the others would be, but it did qualify and wasn't my lowest scoring bridge. So I decided to enter into this with a with the amount of bridges that I still need to replace, meaning those 6 that still need to be replaced, and then some of those others that were, built in the 90s, early 90s, are now becoming, 30 years old, and they're needing work on them too. So it's a continuous project, and this will be a good way for me to offset the price of this bridge.
Court, questions?
We all met at separate times with TxDOT, the engineer, the bridge inspectors, and the engineers, and they were for this. This was their idea.
And this will give us a resolution, and then there will be some other paperwork that the judge will have to sign, and that'll come though after this resolution.
And the step here today is to approve the resolution joining the program, and in that motion, if we can get authorization to sign any other paperwork, it'd be much appreciated. Any further comments or discussion?
Hearing none, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the resolution for participation in the Texas Department of Transportation Off-System Bridge Replacement Program located at County Road 3406 at Horn Branch in Precinct 3, with the judge's signature on any future paperwork that needs to be signed.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam and seconded by Commissioner Richardson to approve the resolution for participation in the Texas Department of Transportation Off-System Bridge Replacement Program located at County Road 3406 at Horn Branch in Precinct 3, and judge's authorization for all necessary documents. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Item passes unanimously. Item 9, consider and take action on proposed amendment to the standard terms and conditions of Henderson County invitation for bid requirements.
Good morning, Court.
Good morning.
What I have this morning is a proposal to change a portion of the standard bid packet. This is just the standard terms and conditions for all bids that go out. With the market, everything changing, going up and down, and having a lot of our vendors coming in after the initial 60 days of bid award, wanting to raise the prices, not sure what the correct procedures are, and those type of things. I wanted to clarify that process a little bit. So on the third page of the bid packet, the second clause, I changed the verbiage a little bit, kind of clarified exactly what those procedures are on how to do it, and made it very clear that any escalation in prices had to be approved by both parties, not just them raising the prices and sending us a notification. And also that broke out into a separate paragraph that they could not charge the county any higher than they charged any of their other customers. I don't know that a lot of vendors really realized that if they were charging, I don't know, 75 cents for a ream of paper to one customer, that they had to charge us that same amount. So I pulled that out into a separate paragraph to make sure that that was also a little more significant and not buried into the middle of a paragraph.
Court, questions, comments?
Has Clint looked at this?
Yes.
This is pretty much standard for like state bidding and stuff too, what they required, a lot of other vendors.
Yes, I pulled from the state. I also posted on the listserv for purchasing professionals at county and city levels, as well as schools and colleges. And so this is pretty much, it's not verbatim, but the same verbiage that a lot of other city and counties use. So ours wasn't that much different. I just kind of broke it apart into separate paragraphs and made sure that it was a lot clearer, whereas before it was kind of all condensed down into one paragraph. It wasn't stated clearly on where to send the request for escalation in prices. So
I think this is a good, installment to the package. We don't want to be getting to anybody. We don't want anybody getting to us either.
Right.
I know with the supply chain and the rapid increase in cost in the last 2 years that we've had some companies that's had trouble meeting some of the bids. So.
And I know some of the commodities that we purchase, the consumer price index, those don't really follow along those lines, but because this is to our standard terms and conditions on those commodities that we purchase that are outside of that, we can address those in our special terms and conditions, and our bid price sheets would be written to where it would address it there. So the special terms and conditions and those price sheets would supersede what's in our standard terms.
And that's significant when you consider the amount of commodities and such that we buy.
Yeah.
Many are consumed by the jail. And like I said, outside of that, we can have special terms and conditions for those things that may follow New York Crude, West Texas Intermediate, how all of that works. Okay? Any further discussion? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to add this to the bid package.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Spivey, to approve the proposed amendment to the standard terms and conditions of the Henderson County invitation for bid requirements as presented. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously.
Thank you, Clerk.
Thank you. Item 10 is receive financial reports, of which there are none. Item 11 is consider and take action on payroll distributions and accounts cash sheet, and we have none. But item 12 is consider and take action on submitted contract. So, come on back.
I have to present to the court a contract with Sedaptic for the for the surveillance and security project. We have gone through the contract as well as IT, and Mr. Davis has gone through it. There were a couple of changes that we needed to get done. They have made those, and we just need to get approval from the court and with the judge's authorization to sign.
Questions or comments?
Does this have a price on it?
I don't believe it does. I think it just covers the scope of work. The price was covered in the actual bid itself. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I can get it for you.
Sheriff, you want to speak toward this at all?
This was the one we brought back a couple of weeks ago. for the system. It was over $600 and something thousand. I don't have the exact number. This is the company that we decided that we felt comfortable going with and will allow us to move forward to the contract stage.
It's on,
It's on.
page, like number 7, contract price.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just found it as well.
Commissioner, you were on that evaluation committee.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion?
Yes, well, it's on the evaluation committee, and we had 2 different companies that applied for this. And we went through all the valuations and stuff and scored Sadactic as the highest, and they were the cheaper of the 2 bids that we did get, so.
Okay. Yeah, 675. 675,000. Well, I'm excited about this project. We've been looking at it now for 3 years, so.
Did you find it, Commissioner Tootley?
Huh?
Did you find it?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further comments? Entertain a motion with judge's authorization to sign.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Richardson, to approve the contract with Synaptic for, what we call it, security,
Surveillance and security program.
surveillance and security program with the judge's authorization to sign. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 13, consider and take action on right-of-way permits. No permits. Item 14, consider and take action on submitted budget amendments, and there are none. And item 15 is consider and take action on payment of bills. Ms. Carpenter.
Yes, sir. There are 2 sets. Our first set is state fees, second quarter, in the amount of $103,732.21.
Questions or comments concerning the state fees? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley and second by Commissioner Spivey to approve the second quarter state fees in the amount of $103,732.21. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously.
Our second set is fiscal year 2022, in the amount of $301,929.86.
Commissioner Spivey.
I had a question, but she's going to fix it and put through a journal entry.
Commissioner Tooley.
I have none, Judge.
Commissioner McCann.
I have none.
Commissioner Richardson.
I have none.
Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal 2022 bills in an amount of $301,929.86 with the added journal entry.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Richardson, second by Commissioner Spivey, to approve the bills in the amount of $301,929.86 with additional journal entries. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Item 16, consider and take action on submitted plats. No plats. No plats. Item 17 is open and consider bids.
This morning I have the 2022 solid waste disposal bid packet for the court's approval. The last bid award was for 3 years, so I took liberty that you guys wanted to do it for another 3-year period. The timeline that I was looking at was to get the packet approved this morning, run the ads in the paper this Saturday and next Saturday, the 13th. Then do the opening on the 23rd, award it the following Tuesday on the 31st, and have it go active on September 1st. There's 11 different companies that we're going to have addresses for to send out direct notifications. I sent those to you guys as well. I don't know if there's others that I need to add to this list.
Court, questions, comments? It's a 3-year bid for our roll-offs and involves the fairgrounds and the senior citizens building?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So all these places have roll-off capabilities?
Are you talking about the vendors?
Yes.
These are just companies that when I Googled, and this was a few years back, 2 bids ago, so 6-7 years ago, I have not received notification that they don't have the availability to do that. So I assume that they do. I don't know for a fact. There were 13 companies, 2 of which did respond and say, we don't have the ability to provide those services to you. So they were removed.
In the past, we have on occasion awarded the bid to different vendors depending upon the responses and the service. Any further questions or comments?
Yeah, I think a lot of them are, what holds it up is the 40-yard dumpsters, because I think there's several other vendors out there that use the 30-yard dumpsters, and the 40-yard, the bigger one, is what we usually ask for.
Yes, sir. Any further comments? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Richardson and second by Commissioner Spivey to approve the solid waste disposal bid specifications as presented. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously.
Thank you.
You sure you don't have anything else you're going to speak to us about?
I hope not.
That leads us to item 18. Consider and take action to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley and second by Commissioner McCam to adjourn. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. We do have a budget workshop that was scheduled to start at 10 o'clock, but give us about...
You missed that. You missed that by good.
About 10, 15 minutes.